I'll tell you a good story.
Okay.
I have 3 friends. All 3 of them had stage 4 cancer. All 3 of them don't have cancer right now at all. And they had some serious stuff going on.
And what did they take?
Jesus. They took some, what you've heard they've taken.
Ivermectin.
Fenbendazole.
Fenbendazole. Yeah.
That's
I'm hearing that a lot.
They drank hydrochloride something or other.
There's studies on that now where people have proven that
people drinking methylene blue and stuff like that.
Yeah, methylene blue, which was a fabric dye.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson is no stranger to headlines. From his Oscar-winning films to his personal controversies, the actor and director has remained a lightning rod in popular culture for decades. Whether he's being praised for cinematic masterpieces like Braveheart or scrutinized for inflammatory remarks caught on tape, Gibson's public image has always ridden the fine line between brilliance and scandal. This reputation only intensified during a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, where he claimed 3 of his friends were cured of stage 4 cancer using a cocktail of alternative treatments, including ivermectin and fenbendazole, drugs often dismissed by mainstream medicine as unproven or even dangerous in such contexts. A shocking claim on a popular platform.
This stuff works, man.
There's a lot of stuff that does work, which is very strange because, again, it's profit. When you hear about things that are demonized and that turn out to be effective, you always wonder, well, what is going on here? How is our medical institutions, how have they failed us so that things that do cure you are not promoted because they're not profitable?
Mel Gibson appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, a podcast known for its casual yet provocative format, and dropped what he called a good story, that 3 of his close friends had completely recovered from stage 4 cancer. His description was anything but vague. He detailed how these individuals used a combination of ivermectin, fenbendazole, and other substances like methylene blue and hydrochloride-based drinks. According to Gibson, these unconventional methods were part of a broader belief he holds that nature holds the cure for all human ailments. Joe Rogan, a figure equally steeped in controversy, leaned into the conversation with curiosity rather than skepticism. When Gibson hesitated to name the treatments directly, Rogan prompted with ivermectin, fenbendazole, to which Gibson nodded affirmatively. These drugs, both commonly used to treat parasitic infections, have a murky reputation in the medical community when it comes to treating cancer. Yet here was a high-profile actor endorsing their use based on personal anecdotes without offering any scientific data or medical records to support his claims. This moment was hardly an anomaly for Rogan's podcast. Over the years, the Joe Rogan Experience has become a hub for alternative perspectives, some of which have drawn sharp criticism for promoting misinformation. The relaxed tone and conversational flow often allow guests to make sweeping claims without any real-time fact-checking. When Gibson mentioned methylene blue, another compound with limited approved uses in human medicine, Rogan chimed in with excitement, calling it profound for its effects on mitochondria. Together, they crafted a narrative more evocative than evidential, leaving listeners to discern fact from fiction. What makes this exchange particularly significant is the sheer influence both men wield. Rogan's podcast reaches millions of listeners, while Gibson's celebrity status lends a level of perceived credibility to his words. The implication that these compounds, some of which are veterinary-grade dewormers, could cure one of humanity's deadliest diseases has profound implications, especially in an age where misinformation spreads like wildfire across digital platforms. Despite the gravity of these claims, Gibson offered little in the way of specifics. There were no names, no dates, no medical reports, just a story framed in mystery and wonder. Yet it was enough to spark discussion online, with some viewers praising Gibson for speaking up and others condemning the conversation as dangerously misleading. In an environment where celebrity opinions often outweigh scientific consensus, Gibson's remarks serve as another chapter in the ongoing clash between anecdote and evidence. unpacking these drugs.
The number of calls the Washington Poison Center has received about the drug ivermectin has tripled in the past year. People started using it recently when a study said it was 90% effective in preventing COVID-19. However, that study was not peer-reviewed, and scientists say the numbers in it are manipulated. Now the FDA reports people are being hospitalized across the country after self-medicating with ivermectin intended for animals.
To fully grasp the magnitude of Gibson's claims, it's important to examine the substances he mentioned. Ivermectin is a drug that's been around since the 70s, originally developed to combat parasitic infections. It's widely used in both human and veterinary medicine, primarily to treat conditions like river blindness and scabies. While it is FDA approved for specific uses in humans, it became a household name during the COVID-19 pandemic, when it was promoted by some as a miracle cure despite lacking sufficient clinical support. Fenbendazole is even more obscure. It's primarily used to deworm animals like dog and livestock. But in recent years, it's gained a cult following among certain online communities, especially cancer patients desperate for options after traditional treatments have failed. The enthusiasm around fenbendazole traces back to anecdotal reports, including that of Joe Tippins, who claimed the drug helped him to beat terminal cancer. Though some early studies have explored its potential anti-cancer properties, no robust clinical trials have confirmed it as a safe or effective treatment in humans. Methylene blue adds another layer of intrigue. Originally developed as a textile dye, it later found medical application in treating methemoglobinemia, a rare blood disorder that affects oxygen delivery in the body. Researchers are currently exploring its utility in a variety of fields, from neurodegenerative diseases to cancer pain management, but it's far from being considered a cure. Gibson and Rogan's enthusiastic endorsement of methylene blue as a mitochondrial miracle drug once again highlights how a little science can be stretched into sweeping claims. While all three substances have shown some potential in early-stage studies, the leap from laboratory results to cancer cure is massive. Most of the supporting evidence comes from in vitro experiments or animal studies, which are preliminary at best. The idea that these drugs can reverse stage 4 cancer in humans remains unsupported by peer-reviewed, large-scale clinical trials. Nonetheless, in Gibson's retelling, these compounds were not just helpful, they were curative. The framing is what concerns many medical experts. Anecdotes, while emotionally compelling, are not substitutes for evidence-based medicine. People in desperate situations may latch onto such stories in the hope of finding a miracle, potentially foregoing proven treatments. By using his platform to endorse these drugs without scientific backing, Gibson inadvertently contributes to a growing distrust in conventional medicine, something that has already been exacerbated by the events of the last few years. Mel Gibson and a history of controversy.
I got COVID from my gardener, and he had it first, and then I got it. I was like, did I grab the hose or what? What was? I don't know. But it was. I knew the guy for 20 years, and we both went to the same hospital, and he died and I didn't.
Jesus.
I think we both got remdesivir, which is not good.
Not good.
Not good, man.
Causes kidney failure.
I know. I couldn't walk for 3 months after I had that stuff.
Really?
Because it kills you. I found out afterwards it kills you, and that's why I wonder about Fauci.
Oh, you should wonder about that guy.
Yeah.
When meanwhile, they were trying to stop people from getting monoclonal antibodies.
Mel Gibson's name has long been associated with scandal, making his recent comments all the more provocative. His career has seen dizzying highs and dramatic lows. After winning an Academy Award for directing Braveheart, he seemed to have cemented his place in Hollywood royalty, but his off-screen behavior overshadowed his artistic achievements. In 2006, a DUI arrest led to an anti-Semitic tirade that rocked his career. A few years later, leaked tapes of him making racist and sexist remarks went viral, earning him widespread condemnation. These episodes pushed Gibson out of the spotlight for several years as studios distanced themselves and former colleagues remained silent. His name became a cultural shorthand for celebrity downfall. Yet over time, he began to inch his way back into public favor. His 2016 film Hacksaw Ridge was a critical and commercial success, earning him an Oscar nomination and somewhat softening his tarnished image. Still, his public persona remains divisive. Given this context, his latest foray into medical commentary isn't entirely surprising. Gibson has always exuded a certain skepticism towards authority, whether it's institutional religion, government, or in this case, the medical establishment. His belief in natural cures and alternative medicine fits neatly into the broader pattern of his worldview, a deep mistrust of official narratives paired with an openness to fringe ideas. And it's not just his words that raise eyebrows, it's the timing. In the wake of the pandemic, public trust in institutions is at a historic low. The explosion of alternative health influencers online has only deepened the rift between mainstream and non-mainstream medicine. Gibson's comments become more than just a story, they're a symbol of the widening gap in how society understands health and healing. Joe Rogan's role in spreading unorthodox ideas.
More than 250 scientists, doctors, nurses, and researchers wrote a letter to Spotify about the misinformation on COVID vaccines and the pandemic spread on Joe Rogan's podcast. It airs exclusively on Spotify. The group wants Spotify to take action against Rogan's wrong information by developing a misinformation policy.
Rogan's podcast has become a cultural juggernaut, a place where everything from fitness routines to fringe science gets an airing. With over 11 million listeners an episode, the Joe Rogan Experience has outsized influence in shaping public discourse. But that influence has often come under fire for giving a platform to controversial views. One of the most scrutinized aspects is its approach to medicine and science. During the pandemic, Rogan faced widespread criticism for promoting unverified treatments, including Ivermectin. The pattern of hosting controversial conversations without any fact-checking has become a hallmark of Rogan's brand. He often positions himself as a curious layman, just asking questions, but the reality is many of his guests present their views as fact, and those views often go unchallenged. The fallout and medical response.
Wow, 19 million views, 168,000 likes. It's getting really bad out here. When I saw this, I thought all the comments would be from people saying this is insane, but a lot of people were agreeing with it, which is absolutely wild.
In response to Gibson's claims, medical professionals expressed concern, clarifying that while ivermectin, fenbendazole, and methylene blue are being studied, none have been proven to cure cancer in humans. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think celebrities should speak publicly about unproven medical treatments? Let us know in the comments section below.